Okay, so I wanted to start with boots because this, I suppose you would consider an outer layer, not an accessory. These are a necessity for when you're out in the woods. So I included them towards the end just because they're closer to the gloves and hats than they are pants or shirts or jackets. But still, it is a very important component and for something that you should give a lot of consideration to. So let's start. On the left, I'm showing you a pair of Merrell hiking boots. These are 100% waterproof, Gore-Tex lined. They are not insulative boots, but the ones that I have here are big enough that it will allow me to wear a liner sock and a wool sock inside of them quite comfortably. They're not especially high, but they're high enough for anything except deep snow, and I do have something I can use with that I'll show you in a few minutes' time. These were purchased secondhand at the thrift store for less than $12. Now, a word of caution or a word of concern that I'll answer right away is these were in virtual brand new condition. There was no wear on the soles, there was no wear on the inside of material, there wasn't any smell in the shoes. They had no breaks in the leather anywhere or any of the synthetic material on the outside. They were virtually brand new boots, and I would not have bought them otherwise had they been. And even then, I sprayed a lot of Lysol inside just to be sure, and I wear a specific footbed inside of them that accommodates my foot shape. But a good choice and can be had at a good price. Next to them are insulative waterproof boots. These are not a well-known name brand. These are Wind River. That's the house brand for Mark's Work Wearhouse. They do have what they call T-Max, which is basically a thin-slate insulation. It's not a heavyweight insulation. They are a waterproof leather outsole. They do have a Vibram sole on the base of them. They are both warmer and more waterproof. Well, not more waterproof, but as waterproof as the other boots. They're just not as high, but they do give me a lot of value. A little bit more warmth. I'll wear them. Well, so far I haven't even had the need to wear them yet, but I'll wear them as the weather gets any colder or any wetter. And for the real cold weather, these are bought brand new. They've only been worn a couple of times out in the snow. We're just not getting the winters here, folks, that I need to have these, really heavyweight cold weather boots. But these are Kamek brand. They are a takeoff of the Sorel brand, and Kamek, I'm not sure if it's exclusive to Canadian Tire, but I waited for these to go on sale, so I paid a small amount of money for them. They do have removable felted wool insoles in them. They are waterproof. They're nice and high. But still enough room that I can wear my wool socks and my liner socks inside of them. So inexpensive because I bought them on sale. Inexpensive because they're not a name brand, and again I bought them on sale. Inexpensive, they are a well-known name brand, but I got them on the cheap at a thrift store. So I don't have a huge investment of money, but I still have quality gear that I can count on when I go out into the woods. Okay, accessory layers. One of the aspects of being able to get equipment on a budget is a couple of things. One is if you know there's something you're looking for and it's coming up to a birthday or Christmas or some other gift-giving holiday, then you may want to say, put it out to the folks who are gifting you. How about either a gift card to an outdoor equipment store, or maybe list the specific items you would like to have, and that'll save you a lot of money and give the other person something that they can purchase for you that's something you'll enjoy and use, and I'm sure they'd be happy to see you doing that. So that's what these first two items are. So what we're looking at here is 100% merino wool neck gaiter or tube. It's like a buff, some people will call it. It's quite long, it's quite stretchy, it's very soft, very warm, very thin. Doesn't have to be thick for doing what it's doing, but it's very effective at maintaining the heat up around your neck, and you do lose a lot of heat through your neck if it's not well insulated, and through the top of your head. So I can use this around my neck as a form of a scarf, if you will, or I can pull it up over my head, under my hat as a base layer for my hats, and will help me maintain my body heat. And it's something, if I start to heat up, I can just pull off without a lot of effort. So in my last video, I showed a pair of wool fingerless mitts, rag wool mitts as they're called, or fingerless gloves, if you will. Both of these items were gifted to me by my two daughters. My younger daughter gave me the gloves. My older daughter gave me the toque a few years ago. Both came from Mountain Equipment Co-op, purchased as a Christmas gift for me. That's how I was able to obtain these nice pieces of equipment. However, right next door, 2 pieces of homemade gear, another avenue of saving money. I think I mentioned this in the last video as well. This also is 100% merino wool neck gaiter that I made myself from a merino wool sweater, or a very thin fashion sweater you'd wear it over a shirt, I guess, to the office. And I just decided to make this a little different. It is brown wool, but you can see that it has a long bib on the front of it, so it's not a full-length tube. And what that allows me to do is pull it down over my head. It's quite long. It doesn't take up a lot of bulk. It's a little wider, so it gives me a lot of room around my neck. But it gives me a long bib down the front that goes down the front of my shirt. I can either tuck in under my sweaters or my fleece or my jacket and protect that area at the base of my neck. Right next to that is a pair of homemade, I'm going to call them wrist covers or gauntlets. They're not a fingerless glove, but they feature in a couple of my videos, and they are made from socks. 100% merino wool socks that I wore the heels out over time. I just took it off at the ankle, folded it over, sewed it up by hand, very easy to do. Cut a hole for my thumb to go through, and just whipped it around the outside of the thumb hole for my thumb to go through. They're not highly effective. They're very effective for what they are. They do come down to my knuckles. My fingers and my thumb are exposed. They are going to get cold, but for when you're doing that fine work, you need the dexterity. These work just fine. What did they cost me? Nothing, because otherwise the socks would have been going in the garbage because the heels had worn out. So making your own equipment is a very effective way of maintaining the budget that allows you to get some quality gear. You just need a few simple skills like hand sewing, or if you happen to know how to use a sewing machine, which my wife showed me, boy, that has saved me a ton of money because I make a lot of my own equipment that way. Next door, two examples in the extremes of colors. These are polyester buffs or neck tubes. They are thin. They're certainly not going to be as warm as the merino wool ones are, but they can be very effective still in the intermediate days, like maybe in the fall and in the spring. I just wanted to show you two colors, but they can be had in an unimaginable variety of colors and patterns, and whatever suits your taste. Literally, I think they were 50 cents a piece. Bought them on eBay. Just go on eBay and say neck tube, and you'll have a selection like you wouldn't believe. Now you will have to wait maybe 4 weeks or so, depending on the time of year, to get these, but they're just as effective as any of the professional Buff brand ones, or at least in my opinion they are. I've seen the Buff brand ones and I don't see a lot of advantage over them, certainly not for the money. This is a thin polyester toque bought at a mountain equipment co-op. I've had it for a number of years. This was a running toque for any time that it wasn't especially cold out. Being 100% polyester, it does provide me that moisture wicking level on my head. It wouldn't do for really cold weather, but I take this to... Now, here's another way of saving money. I'm repurposing something that I'm no longer using for its original purpose. So, while I'm not a long-distance runner anymore, I still have the equipment, so it's great to use, and I move it over to my travels through the woods. So if I'm perspiring a lot, or likely to be perspiring a lot, this will offer a little bit of warmth, but still a little bit of protection, and allow the moisture to move off of my head. Now, the brown toque is something that featured in my last video. These are handmade toques by a vendor here at Halifax at our Seaport Farmers Market. These are both purchased for me on separate occasions. They're both by the same person. They're 100% wool. They were commissioned, if you will. My wife, I told my wife what I was looking for. She went down to see the person. The person says, yes, I can produce those for you. So they were gifted to me. I love this little wool toque. I love the colors of it. It's a little thinner on top, doubled over the ears to keep my ears warm, and just perfect for going out into the woods with. I think it's still got some little moss and branches on it, or birch bark. This one is double layered, so it is reversible. It is quite thick in the wool. It goes down over my ears nicely, extremely warm. Not something I'm going to use very often. Likely I'll be carrying this in my pack and just dig out when I stop moving, but still very effective for what it is. Speaking of homemade equipment, homemade hood. Now it's 100% polyester fleece on the inside, and it's nylon on the outside, a little longer in the front to go down into my jacket or my sweater. It does allow me to drawstring it around the opening. There are a couple of drawstrings. The nylon does not go all the way up over the mouth, so it allows me some breathing space. I can move that into my chin or over the top of my mouth if I want. And the drawstrings to draw it closed. Homemade equipment. It comes out in the worst of weather. It provides me just something I can wear over top of one of the other toques and give me that extra protection from the wind and warmth. goes on and off very easily. All right, let's move down to protecting our hands. Another piece of, there's one more piece of homemade equipment I want to show you. Wow, this is different looking. What this is polyester fleece sewed into a tube, some polyester material on the front of it, and it is goes over my face, goes up over my nose. This is something I made myself for running, and I could wear this when it was likely to get frostburnt on my cheeks or my nose or my lips, and this would come up just under my eyes and work very effective at blocking the wind while still breathing. Yeah, I'd get a lot of ice buildup on the outside of it, but that's just the nature of running in the winter in very cold weather. Again, it's one of those things. I'm no longer use it for running, so why not repurpose it for the woods? My mountain man hat, or my trapper hat. No, it's not real fur. I do happen to have a real fur, rabbit fur one I didn't dig out for this demonstration, but this is one I use more often than not. You know what? This was purchased at Mark's Work Warehouse. It is meant as a work hat for working out in the oil fields or anywhere else you're working in cold weather. It is a great warm hat, very effective what it does. Pull those ear flaps down, lower it in the back, cover my neck, cover my ears. It doesn't come out very often. We just don't get the temperatures cold enough to warrant that. I will take it with me if I think I'm going to be sitting for a while out in the cold, but otherwise it's not used a lot. It's just simply too warm for most of it. Leather work gloves, everybody has them. These are insulated leather work gloves. They were gifted to me by my mother-in-law. They came as a 2-pack from Costco. So another way of saving money is another gift. Still very effective. They are deerskin, very soft, very supple, and very durable. And as you can see, they're well used. I use them a lot. I do rub a little of a grease mixture into them to waterproof them now and then. But still, because they have a polyester lining, they're not only warm, but they do dry very quickly. Glove liners. These are not wool. They're 100% polyester. Again, repurposed from my days of running. Just a lightweight polyester glove liner, very light. They will go underneath some of my other pieces of equipment that I'll wear, but you know, they're easy enough to pack. And this is the type of thing, these lightweight ones, that you can store in the corner of your bag even in the spring or in the early fall when you're not expecting to be out for an extended period of time, and you suddenly find yourself it's a little colder than you'd like and you want to put on a layer. You could put on these gloves or those little gauntlet type ones I showed you a minute ago, the homemade ones. These neck tubes, small toque, all will fit into something not much bigger than the palm of your hand, and all put away and will provide you extra warmth if you're caught out unexpectedly. All right, handwear. Again, repurposed from my running days. These are a waterproof, breathable membrane mitt. They fit over, they're a gauntlet style mitt, they fit over whatever else I'm wearing. They are intended to give me waterproofness while not necessary, and provide warmth by the fact that they're waterproof and windproof, but they don't have an insulative quality in and of themselves. So there's something I can take with me and wear while I'm doing work around or moving around or stagnant and need that extra warmth of my hands. And again, repurposed from my running days. Work gloves for the outdoors. These are a heavy-duty work glove. They're a polyester fleece-lined work glove with a gauntlet style. They do have the zipper and a little zippered pocket on the back. You know, I've never been able to figure out if that's for one of those little instant hand warmers or maybe to put your keys. I'm not sure, but they're quite warm, very durable. Again, purchased at Mark's Work Warehouse when they went on sale at half price, saving me money but still giving me something very effective to wear. Another gift. Gore-Tex gaiters, snow gaiters from my pants. They strap around the bottom of my boots, they zipper up the front, and they snug up at the top with drawstrings. So this will give me protection in the deeper snow and still allow me to wear the shorter boots and fit over. One of the problems I have is most higher boots don't fit over my legs for a variety of reasons, but this will give me protection and warmth and waterproofness right up to just below the knee, so just up over the calf. So yeah, they're a little pricey, brand new, but again, these were gifted to me one Christmas. So again, you could ask for it as a gift. However, sitting right next to it is a pair of nylon gaiters that I picked up for $1.99 at the thrift store. They're a polyurethane coated gaiters, so they're not a breathable material, but they're still very effective at doing what they do. They provide a waterproofness and still a lot of protection for a very inexpensive price. And there's one last item of homemade use. It's something I've only used once or twice. It was more an exercise to see whether or not I could make it. And this is a fleece-lined tube with drawstrings on either end and a string that can go around my neck and let it hang. So it's something that I suppose hunters have used for quite a long time. It's double-layered fleeced on the inside and heavy-duty nylon on the outside. And if I'm sitting and I'm wearing the thinner gloves or something like my fingerless gloves, and I want to keep my hands warm but still be ready that like a hunter would to handle their firearm, I can just put my hands inside of this, keep my hands warm, even throw in one of the little hand warmers if I have it, keep my hands warm, then draw my hands out and do the work as needed. And again, homemade. It cost me really nothing, just a little bit of time at the sewing machine, a little bit of time designing it and making sure that it worked properly. Well, there you have it, folks. Just a brief overview of some of the winter equipment that I've purchased on the cheap, either through gifting, through secondhand stores, or through making it myself, that allows me to get out and enjoy the outdoors, and it gives me lots of options depending on what the weather is. I hope this has given you some ideas of what you can do for yourself. It is not exhaustive. It is not meant to be. There's just too much here to show, not just what I own, but there's too many variables and types of equipment that you can buy or purchase or make yourself. And, you know, in fact, I would invite you to contribute in the comments below some of your budget equipment that you use for the winter time. So this is a wintertime segment. I suspect once spring comes, I'll likely do another one showing my spring, summer, fall equipment that I use for clothing as I go out. And I'm likely going to do more videos along the line of budget equipment, the type of equipment. I think one of my earlier videos you saw me using an IKEA hobo stove with a coffee canister pot. And you know, that's still some of the best piece of equipment that I have, and I like it so much because it's not only effective, but it was virtually pennies to make. So I'm going to continue showing some of this budget equipment, and the purpose again that I want to do this is I want to encourage people to get out in the woods and enjoy themselves with good quality equipment, but without the burden of having to spend a lot of money to get out there. You can spend a lot of money, as you know, on outdoor equipment, and I wouldn't want that to be a barrier for people not being able to get out there. So this is meant to give you some ideas. I would love your comments and welcome them for more ideas or what you've come across yourself as value equipment, budget equipment. And yeah, so if this is something you enjoyed, as always, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And now I understand through YouTube that right next to the subscribe button is a little bell button that if you want to receive notifications when my next video comes out, you need to hit that. Otherwise, you won't receive the email notification. Also, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and as always, leave comments below. So folks, until next time, get out and explore. Get out and try new trails that you haven't been down before. Take that path left traveled. It'll make all the difference. Bye for now.